most time when you need to start that research, or probably you are being given an essay or a report to look into, everything seems to look confusing at the initial state because you have to juggle between diverse papers together before you can come with a concrete, solid presentation that you can have. What if we can look into another strength area that you have together while we rush through this topic that we want to check into and strengthen you in writing your both your research and your academic writing? Welcome on board. I'm Scholar AIV, and in this segment, we'll be looking into mastering academic research and writing. We'll be looking from the aspect from question to contribution. The question, what's look confusing to you that you want to address, which is your aspect of what you want to address, to your contribution to knowledge. However, before I start, I would like to establish the fact that different researchers, different authors have looked into diverse one. Things may not be new that you are looking to. Only what you're adding to the knowledge is what is new. People have done diverse things on ground before. Yours is not looking into what they've done, critically looking into them, and you establishing a new pathway that you can now contribute to the knowledge. So let's dive into this. This is a transformation from what looks overwhelming to become a confident researcher. And this does not only relates to probably even research, it also helps in the aspect of your own academic writing, whether be it essay or you're writing a report or as anything deemed fit in academic work. So what you master in this course is the art of asking powerful research question. What is the problem? Now you identify an area of problem. How do you ask the specific question that needs solution in that regard? Systematic literature review strategies, different approach how you can review different literatures will also be addressed. Robust methodology design, how you can concretely structure your methodology and how you can frame this that it will look more transparent and it also look as a strategic plan to achieve data for your research. Also be looking into data analysis mastery. This will also be a practical section that I don't want to miss in subsequent clips, because we'll be looking into how you can analyze with some key analysis software. We'll be looking from both end of quantitative and qualitative analysis. Quantitative from the aspect of using your Excel, your SPSS, your Stata, your Python to check into how you can analyze with this, depending on what your own methodology of the research is being carried out. And from qualitative, we'll be looking basically on NVivo for our thematic analysis. So don't miss that section. You can keep up with this channel to get update on more of that one. And we'll also be looking into compelling academic writing, diverse either essay, reports, research, articles, publication paper, how you can structure this, how you can put this one in place. And the last thing that we'll be looking into, how you can now structure your knowledge contribution. After you've done series of your research, you've juggled into different articles, you've come up with your own probably evidence from your own research, which you have validate on an ethics base. How can you contribute to this into a knowledge that you can now share abroad with different researchers or probably those that might be in it? In that way, let's look into what is academic writing. Academic writing, I put it as a structured evidence-based communication. You might tend to want to write other prospect, probably like a story, probably like a fiction story, probably like a blog post and the likes, that you can write it on a generic knowledge of this and this and this are what happened and this and this led to this. But in academic writing, it must be well structured logically, but it must also be evidence-based. Evidence-based is that you look into different authors, different scholars, what they've already established before. From their standpoint, you don't just describe it within your either your report or your essay writing or your research writing, but you critically look into what they've established and you justify it by bringing out your own point from it. Meaning, your author A said this and this, which prompts this. Why, in contrast, author B established this perspective. So you now come up with your own idea of what do you now think from the two ends and what is your own standpoint on that one, looking critically into them. So that is what academic writing entails. So I said for any academic writing, either essay, reports, must have clarity and precision, meaning it must be formal. You must express complex idea in a concise form, not that probably you have a lengthy. No. You make it concise and you make it something clear that even somebody that does not understand what you are talking about at a quick glance, I quickly depict this is what you are working on. And it must also be a logical argument, not that we read the first paragraph. From the second paragraph, we are disconnected from what is happening in first paragraph. Everything must be logical from A to Z. Another thing is there must be a structural flow, like I just mentioned now, from your introduction to your body to your conclusion. Your introduction gives us overview, background knowledge of what you are actually working on, and also establish the fact of what the whole other work cycle around. And in that prospect, each of the paragraph also that we will see between the main body must also what must also be logical. You are moving from one step to another one, and there's a connection between each of the paragraph. It must be evidence based and an argument based. You look into different author, different individuals that have established something around that which you are currently working on, and use that one to support your own discussion. While you also what you also argue, you don't just support everything that's been said. You also what argue on different author, looking from different perspective author, because even when 10 people are looking in one direction, some of them will still see different things. So looking from different perspective of different author, you can use that one to create an evidence for your research. So having established that, what is now academic research writing? Academic research writing is just a vehicle for your discovery, meaning that you look into a particular problem and you are intending to have a what if I do it this way? What solution can this one bet? So that one is more purposeful. You are looking into a specific problem that you actually want to discover a solution to. And that's what makes it a research, in which, apart from you going to carry out an literature review on different author, do your research online and the likes, you carry out some prospects, probably some findings around this one that cannot be as an additional plus. Though your findings may be limited to only literature reviews in some cases, especially if you are doing a secondary research like systematic review and the likes. But in if it's primary research, you still have to go outside there, gather some data, depending on how it might be, probably quantitative or qualitative, and that you can ask questions from individuals. You can give them a questionnaire to fill for you, just for you to gather the opinion that you can now use to analyze and make it evidence based in connection to what you have read from different literature that you've gone through. And this also in like an academic writing must be a structured content, meaning it follows a stipulated order. There is order for how you go through it, from your introduction, your literature review, your methodology, your let me try to write that one down here. So the order is always from your introduction to your literature review, down to your methodology, I mean, to your results and discussion. And we also have your conclusion, which will be your contribution to knowledge. So that is what the structure must flow like. And also in this regard, also the content, like I said, the content is also part of the structure, which is introduction, the literature, the methodology, method that you are using to carry it out, the results. Because especially the methodology will be a medium of transparency to other people, to other scholars that are going through your report, so that they'll be able to know which approach do you use that generates that actual result that you are working on. So key component of research that we have to take note, irrespective of how you are carrying out your research, this will always be a key thing that you have to take note within the space of your research. The first one that I have over here is your research question and hypothesis. It must be clear, not that you are looking into a wide scope that may not be covered within the jurisdiction of your space of your work. You must narrow it down to a specific problem that you are addressing, and that will bet a specific question. What is the main research inquiry that you want to carry out? And from that research question is where you generate your hypothesis, depending on which methodology approach that you want to use for your research. Another prospect that we have is the literature review. The literature review will take you to go and zoom different publications, but always take note of something, that it must be a reputable publications, some not just a random fabricated story or any information that is not legit. You must look into scholarly published articles that will give you more credibility on what you're actually working on. You might look into peer reviews journal. You might look into reputable platforms, just like a website that you can get some information from. After the in that literature also, you tend to identify different existing knowledge, and you also identify gaps in knowledge, what they have achieved, what they have found, what is currently known in line of what you are checking, and what they have not gotten in that prospect. So from what they've not achieved in that regard, you can now propel your own research. You can project your own research around that aspect as a case study of what you want to look into in the research gap, which will serve as your own knowledge that you are contributing to the research. So now the next level, after you've seen the literature review, don't forget when you're also going through your literature review, you'll have identified patterns in how this author carry out their own diverse research. You'll have seen different methods that they apply. You'll have seen different results they got from their method. You'll have seen what they conclude on. So from that one, also that one will have served as a background for your own methodology that you want to use in your research, which is our third aspect that we have over here. So in your methodology, you create a transparency research design. This is what I'm doing from A to Z. I move from this, I collect my specimen, I analyze it, I did this a bit by bit, because somebody may follow one route and another person follow another route, though they are doing similar things, but the end result may be different. Why is it different? Is because the channel at which both of them fly through that process is different. And when there's already a clear methodology, it gives a transparency of how they all come to the results which they achieve. And that is why we have to make the methodology section clear, and it must be also based on evidence base, not that you just come up abstractly with something. What has people done in that line that you can also that can serve as your own benchmark of study in that regard. Another thing that we have is, after you carry out your method, probably you collect data. Let me just use one as an example in this case. Probably you are working with a quantitative data using a surveil approach. You have gone out, you've collected data from individual people, you've gathered those data together in a quantitative form, and now you've imported it into your analysis software, probably Excel, SPSS as it might deem fit, and you've analyzed this to show you patterns and trend. From that one, you can now present your results, which is reporting what you find out. In doing carrying out your research, what do you find out? And in so doing also, you show it in a data visualization whereby people can quickly depict. You don't need to be showing us a list of raw data of 300 people, but from a graphical illustration that we can just see, probably like a pie chart, probably using your bar chart, we can quickly depict what you are seeing and what your data is telling us in a quick glance. And after that one, based on your findings, you discuss and you critically analyzed what your finding is telling you. And that one will also be now based back into, you connect it with different author, different scholars that you've read their publication before, what they are saying. Is it in alignment or is it contradicting? If it's contradicting, why is it contradicting? Even if it's connecting with what they say, why is it connecting what they say? You critically look into it, and by that one, you establish your discussion part, which make it more solid. But irrespective of anything, don't forget one statement that I said, where even if you are writing your discussion part, it must be what? Logical. Logical in the sense that though you are basing it on your findings and you are connecting it with evidence from different scholars, but nevertheless also it must be logical. When people move from the first paragraph to second paragraph, they see a connection between the paragraph. And after you've established that perspective, you zoom to your conclusion and your contribution to knowledge. What has this research that you carry out contribute to knowledge? So that one will now be the gap that you identify earlier, that you are putting, that you are filling in the knowledge gap. So lastly, let's look into this methodological approach. This is just like an introduction to what we want to look into in this perspective. Subsequent section, we'll be looking into all this bit by bit for you to know how you approach it. Well, you might be somebody that is looking into data analysis and how to analyze data and probably interpret data. And you might be thinking, did I need all this one? The prospect is, if you are working with academic research analysis, understanding of these basics will help you a lot, even when you are doing analysis perspective. Because when you are running analysis, you know the theoretical background that solidify this. By you running your analysis, you can even advise, you can your interpretation of your results will also be solid based on the understanding that you have about what research it is. And that's why you need most of these aspects. So in methodology, we have diverse approach that we used to use. Probably during my clip on methodology per se, I will look into this in details by we checking methodology called onion. That one will give us a more depth into what this is talking about. So, but basically, we have three major approach, which is quantitative, we have the qualitative approach, and we have the mixed method. The quantitative is just about numeric data. You are looking into statistical analysis. You gather your data through survey, or you gather it through experiments, observations, and the likes. In this one, you are asking how much, how how many, meaning that how many people support this particular pattern, how many people is saying yes to this, how many people is saying no to this, and you're looking at the pattern trend in that support. So in that one, you can there's also a generalization focus. You carry out survey on 400 people, and out of the 400 people, 300 people are giving you yes, while 100 people are saying no. Based on the statistic that the yes is more than the no, you can now conclude that everybody is saying what is saying yes. So but on qualitative base, sometimes most of the time the statistic may not, I mean, in terms of respondent, may not be equivalent to that of quantitative. It might be minus, but in this case, you are looking for narration and you are looking for a text, a verbal word, whereby people share more of the opinion. They share more of the opinion that no, looking at this, instead of saying yes I agree, no, they will give you more details that yes I agree, but this is the reason, this is the reason. Even asking a single question, somebody can answer you for just 20 like 20 minutes, 30 minutes or thereabout, depending on how you have that luxurious time. And in this aspect you tend to get more what, depth information, depth information from your participants. Why mixed method just balance the quantitative and quantitative, qualitative and quantitative approach together. It's as if you are merging the two together. The choice of which one should you follow in this regard, it will depend on your research question, what your research question want to look into, available resources. Do you have individual personnel that is ready for you to that they want to undergo interview with you? And if you want to go for qualitative, do you have large quantity of number of people that you can carry out survey on if you are going for quantitative based on your case study? And another thing is to be on your desired outcome, what you tend to achieve at the long run of your research. So these are part of what to look into before you take the methodology. Well, let's stop here because of our time. Please and please, what I will just advise you is you can subscribe to the YouTube channel for you to get more uh, updates whenever subsequent episode is being dropped, because this is a journey, is a sequential journey that will take you from level of somebody that does not know anything in terms of research to how you can also come up with your own solution to your own idea sequentially by having the knowledge of both the theoretical aspect and the practical aspect. So thank you for joining. See you in next episode.